New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Well, great balls of fire, Bubba. What happened, Buford? That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those son busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
50 years of KISW. Head the rock shop at KISW.com. Man, we got some swag for you. 50th anniversary baseball rock tee. The 50th anniversary hat. And if you're feeling a little chilly out there, the Rock Eco Zip hoodie. It's a lightweight hoodie.
Nice. It's
baseball. Really good stuff. The 50th anniversary beanie that you've been wearing.
I was going to say, the beanie's great and the baseball cap is great.
Check it all out now at KISW.com and get your stuff now in the rock shop. It is very cool gear. I don't know who designed it, but it wasn't anyone that works with us. Our question, what was in the water? 206-421-ROCK.
A couple of quick comments here. It says, I was on a ship in the East China Sea off the coast of, they mentioned, you guessed it, China. And on two separate occasions, saw dead bodies floating by.
On two occasions?
Two separate occasions. No rhyme or reason, just, hey, there's another dead body.
That sounds like something a dude at the bar with a shot of whiskey would tell you. Like, he takes a shot and he's like, I was in the East China Sea. I seen two dead bodies.
So separate occasions.
Right? It's like, all right, scary dude.
And this one says, my friend broke a duck's neck.
Oh.
While skipping rocks. The duck popped up just as the rock skipped. The duck makes a horrible scream and dies.
No way.
Oh.
You couldn't do that on purpose.
That is insane.
Right, man. Just skipping a rock. Here's a duck. Pow. Hit it. Kill it. Feel bad.
I got chased by a duck out of a lake.
Was it a duck or a goose?
It was a duck.
You let a duck chase you?
I was on a secret mission. I had an inner tube around my head.
Okay.
And I was like crawling along the bottom, and I got close to the duck and its family, and the duck attacked.
Oh, family, yeah.
We had to do that at scout camp because of the beaver, the family of beavers. They would, I taught rowing and canoeing and lifeguarding and everything else, but you had to go out in the middle of the lake sometimes and dump a boat to learn how to, to tip it back over and get back in. So it was all these drills, but depending on how the mom was that day, she would come flying out.
That's right. They're really fast.
Yeah, you tell all the kids, like, get back out of the water, get in your canoes, man. This is not going to be the day we're going to be able to do this. And then someday, you wouldn't see her for a week. You know what I mean? So it was like,
so you couldn't predict her.
No, you had no idea what would piss her off.
But you were terrified every time you got in the water.
You just knew that it was there. And she swam fast, and she was a big ass beaver.
Beavers are bigger than you'd think.
Uh-huh. And if you saw the construction of the dams and everything that she did on this stream that was coming into this lake, you would be impressed. They had like 3 or 4 pools.
That's the other thing. Beavers are bigger than you think, and they also are very good
at chewing on wood.
Remember that, son?
They can drop some lumber.
Right, and when you see a tree that's been felled by a beaver, you're just like,
it's perfect.
Like, did he have an axe?
Right.
Like, how did he do this?
And it fell right where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Right across.
Let me ask you.
It's amazing.
I've heard this about beavers. All right. But I could say the same thing with the lumberjacking. Oh, man, why don't you take down a tree? But what percentage of beavers out there do you think actually suck at felling trees? Like, they do their thing and, like, the tree falls the other way.
Not many, man.
You know what I mean? There's got to be that one stupid beaver where the other beavers go, hey, Larry the Beaver, tell you what, man, we've got this one. We've seen your other attempts at the dam, and you suck.
Lumberjacks, that's a super hard job, one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. But they're still using a tool.
Yeah.
I'm saying that beaver's just got teeth.
That's what I mean. That's why there has to be the beaver that's the stupid beaver out of the beaver. It's like, look, there you go.
The trees do fall out of them.
That's him.
I mean, there's some, here's another one. They all don't have skills. I hate it when that happens.
It's not fun. We're looking at pictures now of beavers that fell in a tree, but the tree landed on them.
Was just crushing the beaver.
Oh, Jesus.
Poor little guy.
I told you, there's got to be some crappy beavers. There's no way they're all awesome at this.
Guy didn't have a chance.
Oh, Jesus.
That's got to be like dying from choking if you're a beaver.
Right.
Like, a tree you were taking down fell on you.
Or drowning.
Yeah.
What was in the water? 206-421-ROCK.
I knew there's stupid beavers out there.
Stupid beaver.
Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
This one goes back 2008. Me and a buddy Craig were camping up in Greenwater. Found this cool spot, like right out of a movie. Water runoff up off the mountain and crystal clear blue water. So we set camp up and get our air mattresses blown up, and we're kind of paddling around the little pond, probably a half hour or so, and then I remember I looked over at the side, and there's this log with flies all over it. I'm like, man, what the heck is going on? Hey, Craig, let's go check this out. So we start paddling over towards the log, and you get like 50 feet from it and realize it's a dead deer sitting in the lake. Oh. The only thing I could think of was that movie Cabin Fever, when everyone's flesh started just melting off because of the dead animal.
That's the thought that went through your mind.
That's the first thing that went through my head. Craig, get out of the water. What is it? Get out of the water.
Your skin's going to melt, man.
Yeah.
Was it all bloated, or did it look like a fairly fresh, dead deer?
No, it was pretty bloated. It'd been there for a little while.
Did you like throw any rocks at it and see if you could get that thing to blow up?
No, absolutely. No, we were camping there the whole weekend, so we just avoided it.
Okay. I think I'd have to throw rock. I mean, if it's in the water. Because they'll show like those dead, like pilot whales or whatever, wash up on the beach. And what was it like?
Have you guys ever
20
seen
or 30
Have you guys
years
ever
ago?
seen a body in the water before?
A dead body?
Human body?
I have.
No.
No.
It doesn't look like a human.
Why? Where were you that you saw, or was it one of your scouts got hit by the beaver?
Just the lake by my house. Somebody had passed on, and we were the first people to see the body, and we ran screaming to the neighbor.
Was it like on the shore, or did you like go out into the water?
It was floating in a cove. Like underneath a log, just kind of bobbing up and down. That was the cove that we went in to swim in.
Face down, face up?
You could, I mean, honest to God, Steve, you couldn't tell.
Is it just...
It's so, the body's so bloated. Like, you couldn't even tell what it was.
I mean, does the color change?
Poked the thing.
Ugh.
I mean...
Like, if it turns gray, does it... I mean, I've never seen it dead.
Also, how long is a body underwater before it floats back
Blue
up?
and bloated. Well, gas starts building, I think.
Right. I don't know what the timeline is on it, but inevitably that's why they float. But I mean, someone that does that stuff, I'm sure it could take 2-3 days, whatever.
That's what I say. I don't think it's that, like, super... I don't think it's, like, hours. Like, they're underwater for a while.
It's got to be a little bit, right?
The eyes start to kind of bulge.
Right.
So you can't really see... It almost looks like... somebody blew up somebody with basically like a tire pump.
Thank you for pulling up images.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Jesus Christ, Miles.
Yeah, well, that's what you're getting.
All right.
I don't want to sleep tonight anyhow.
Wow.
Well, sorry.
Gracious.
Don't Google that. What was in the water? 206-421-ROCK.
God damn.
Yeah, it's not good.
I'm just looking. Oh, my God, man. Hello, Scotty. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, mates.
Hola.
Okay, so when I was in college in the summers, I worked at an outward bound school in the Colorado Rockies, and we catered to, like church groups and some corporate groups, and we taught, more or less, it was like, not so much the wilderness skills, we used that as a tool, but for group dynamics and such, right? So one of the things that we did, we had these skits that we would do that were supposed to, teach these kids how to do water conservation and things such as that. Because most of them were from the East and they had no experience in the backcountry. So one of the quick skits that we would do, and the setup's kind of crucial, we would take dishes and wash our dishes in this pan of water, and then somebody would brush their teeth in the water, and then somebody would wash their socks out in the water, yada, yada. Then one of the staff would drink the thing, like slug it down, right? So for the most part, though, behind the scenes, we'd have this full agreement. They were clean socks. They'd just been put on the people's feet, this and that and whatever. So we had this one guy, and I know you all know the guys like this. He was in our group. He's a staff guy. He was pretty cool, but he was a knucklehead. He was always doing stuff that just irritated everybody. He wasn't that funny. So anyway, he drew the straw to do the drink that night. So we go through the whole routine. we, wash some dishes, and the big thing was always somebody brushed their teeth in there, so it tended to be minty, so it kind of masked everything else, right? Well, this one guy he had played several pranks on, after the fact, we had no idea he did this at the time, he out his underwear, and he had a wet dream in those underwear.
Oh.
And he walked, and that guy was an enthusiastic participant. He slugged down the whole mess. And we were just all dying afterwards. We never told the guy.
I was going to ask, did you ever tell him?
As far as I know, we never told him. We all just were like, when our buddy told us, he's like, dude, I just washed my underwear out there and I spunked in them. We were just like, okay, that was like way too much, man. It was.
I would not tell him.
Like I said, this guy was really one of those dudes that would irritate you with the stuff that he did till it just built up so far. And he's like, all right, we got to get even.
How long did it take from when the last camper left on the weekend before you guys started smoking weed?
It was pretty much every night.
Okay. Yeah, I just remember being a counselor.
Were like anywhere from 20 to 30. When we were with them for like 10 days. Yeah. We would pack them up in the mountains one day. Then we would spend like 5 days with them, doing like wilderness navigation and this and that. And then based on the dynamic in the group, we would determine a little 4 or 5 day pack trip where they were supposed to navigate themselves, and we just would sort of shag them, make sure they didn't kill each other or get lost.
I just remember when the kids went home on Saturday around noon to the camp that I worked at, man, by 3 o'clock, all of us were drunk.
Oh, of course.
Because then there's going to be a new crew coming in the next day at around noon, and you have to do the whole process over again. Sure. It's like being a school teacher, you know what I mean? But it's the same curriculum every week.
Why teachers drink?
It just drives you crazy, you know what I mean? Like,
dude, when I coached at a basketball camp that was overnight, we had the hospitality room.
Yeah.
Which basically meant like every night you'd go in there and there'd just be like coolers full of beers, sodas, and cold cuts. And all the coaches would just sit in there and get wasted.
I mean, I do it
That's
now.
awesome.
That's
Kids
why I
go
saw
to bed. It's like I'm breaking out booze. I'm breaking out beer. I'm getting stoned out of my mind. Like, I don't deal with the
you
kids.
got a hospitality room. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Hospitality room.
That's why I saw a guy swallow a quarter playing chandeliers.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
Oh, that makes it better.
What was in the water? 206-421-ROCK.
I saw a friend of his at a funeral last year, and I was like, ask your buddy about the quarter. He's like, Jesus, you guys are never going to let that go. I was like, no, why would we?
Hello, Josh. Welcome to the men's room.
Yes.
Hola.
Off a day. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. How are you, sir?
I'm all right.
So what was in the water?
For me, it's the boys and I went free diving back home in Guam, out in the reef and such, and we noticed that I'm basically scratching my whole entire body. The boys and I, we got kind of separated. Then when we came close to each other, they're like, hey, we got to call it a night from this free dive that we're doing. And I was like, why do we have to free dive? We're not even in the water, not even in an hour. And they're like, there's jellyfish swimming around the water. And this whole night I'm out in the reef, I'm scratching my whole entire body from my head to my toe. And when they told me there's jellyfish in there, I was like, I don't see any jellyfish. I put my mask back on, and I look underwater. There's millions of baby jellyfish just swimming throughout the whole entire water. And I was like, man, that was a bummer that night. We weren't able to catch any fish, but
how bad does this? Did you get
baby jellyfish swimming?
Did you get stung?
Water.
Did you get stung by a jellyfish?
Oh, like I said, there's millions of baby jellyfish just swimming throughout the water. And the whole time we're out in the reef, I was wondering, why am I scratching my whole entire body
right.
from my head to my toe?
And you're just getting lit up.
When I was talking with the guys, I put my mask on, I look underwater, and there's millions of jellyfish, baby jellyfish swimming around.
I got stung by one once.
I have not. I have no urge to, obviously, but were you what, in the ocean, I'm guessing?
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, just got stung by a jellyfish when I was a kid. I don't remember a lot about it. I just remember it was neosporin and the pink stuff. Was calamine
or something like that?
Whatever they put on poison ivy was basically the same thing that I got.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that was just part of being a kid, because we always went to the beach in Maryland, like
August.
I was going to say late July or August.
Right. That is, at least in that part of the country, because our friend got married there, our friend Karen, all right? Mm-hmm. So she gets married. She does it basically on the beach, Salisbury, whatever the hell. But I remember she gets...
that nice hotel.
That's the one, right? So
Will got married
it's
there.
a waterfront hotel, but there's this pier that goes down to the water. And I remember before, though, because my wife's in the wedding, and I'm there early, and I walk out to the pier to grab a smoke, and as I'm walking toward the water, at first I'm thinking it's litter. I cannot believe, like, how much plastic or who dumped an entire truckload of light bulbs in there or whatever. And as I get there, I realize the entire, as far as I can see, was just jellyfish.
I just remember I remember not feeling like I got stung. I just remember coming out, and then a welt formed, and then I got really itchy and started to burn. Okay. So, like, I didn't feel it at the time. I just know when I got back to the pool, I was just like, what is this?
I mean, it depends on jellyfish. What is it? The box jellyfish, I guess, is the one, like, if it stings you, that's real bad news.
You're right. We always went to the beach late, probably because of baseball.
Sure.
But that was always the thing. Like, you got stung a couple times a week, and then sometimes you just, like, sprint out of the water crying because you got stung, or you just sprint out of the water. You'd be like, there's a jellyfish in the wave.
Yeah. I stepped on a ray once.
Oh, you told me that,
man. I stepped on a ray once. That was weird. The best one, though, is my Uncle Bill. So my dad and my Uncle Bill, they're sailing to this little island off the coast of St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay.
Clearwater, Dunedin. And there is a nude beach. Now, there's a beautiful state park, probably one of the nicest state parks in the United States, called Caladaisy Island. Right beside there is a nude beach. So after they went to Caladaisy and did their thing, we're going to truck on over and see what's going on at the nude beach, right? So the way the Gulf of Mexico works, you could be about 200 yards away from shore, and seriously, the water might be 3 feet the whole way in.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. So as they're approaching the beach, there's a woman walking down the beach, according to my dad, who has the hugest boobs he's ever seen. And she is a very well-built woman. But her boobs are just huge. And my uncle's just looking at her and just losing his mind. So they're on a Hobie craft. He decides to jump off because he's basically going to bring the boat in, right?
Yeah.
Boat's getting close to shore. He's going to jump off, grab the rope, pull the boat the rest of the way in. My uncle jumps off. His heel lands directly on a sea urchin.
Oh, God.
Now, I don't know if you know what a sea urchin looks like, but it's basically just like a spiky half ball.
It's like a porcupine in the shape of a ball.
And all these porcupine needles from the sea urchin just go straight up into his heel. And I don't know if you know anything about pain in your feet or anything like that, but the heel is a very solid thing. And when you penetrate the heel, the pain is unbearable. So apparently my uncle could not walk for months because the sea urchin went up because he wanted to get to the beach as quickly as he could.
Because he wanted to see this one with the big boobs.
Yeah, he wanted to try to catch up with it.
So in an effort to see big boobs, he ended up stepping on the sea urchin.
Sea urchin up his foot, yeah. What Tomo's in the water? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Ron. Welcome to the men's room.
Happy 50th, boys.
Hola. Thank you, sir.
Hola, my little muchachos. Okay, so this story is going to blow every story out of the water.
I see what you did there.
I'm in, me and a bunch of my friends are in Hawaii for my friend's wedding, and a lot of us got salmonella poisoning from the food, and so as my dad liked to call it, we had the screaming yellow zonkers. So we're on this sailboat. Excuse me.
Is that your bird?
What in the hell?
Yeah, I'm here.
What are you doing? What is all that noise?
Is that a bird?
No, I don't. So anyway, I got diarrhea real bad. I decided to go out on this big sailboat with about 50 people on board for a snorkel trip. I was so sick, I just wanted to get in the water. So we're diving, and I got a drop trowel, and a big plume of diarrhea comes out, and I made a beeline out of there, and next thing you know, there's about 1,000 fish.
I was going to ask, did fish start attacking your ass?
Yeah. And so all my friends and the other tourists, they swam right through the big cloud.
Because they were trying to check out all the pretty fish.
Oh, look at all the fish.
But 10 years later, I tell my friends what happened. Oh, you son of a you-know-what.
You didn't tell. I would have thought, man, I mean, at least within an hour, like, hey, man, remember you saw those fish? You can thank me because I pooped myself.
There's a lot of cool stuff out there. There's turtles and everything else you can kind of swim with and everything. But I'm pretty sure the place he's talking about is Maui, and there's like a half moon island.
Oh, what are they called? I know what you're talking about.
And it's kind of got there's the backside of it is not really into the current, so you can kind of just hang out and check out the fish. That's where I saw the little baby shark, and I'm thinking, where's mom at?
Right.
But the trip was like 6-7 hours. So you know me, man. After like 3-4 hours, I'm bored to tears.
Right.
Like I've gone down 25 times. Like I'm done. Like, you know what I mean?
There's only so much.
There's nothing more to be. So now I'm like staring down like the shoreline. Like, can I make it? You know what I mean? Like, can I just swim and get a cab home, man? Like, get me the hell out of here. I hate that crap, man. Because once you're out there, you're stuck.
That's the problem with everything there. Like, everything there. Now we're here. We are stuck here. There's not as much to do as we've been promised. We're just here now. Yeah. And we have to wait a couple hours for a bus to bring us back.
Best one, though, was real quick in Cabo. This guy, we're taking a water taxi into Cabo. This guy is on his walkie-talkie talking to a group of snorkelers that are up in front of us. There's a whole group. And he's speaking in Spanish, so I don't understand what he's saying. Basically, what he told him was, he clicks it off, and then all the snorkelers, they get wrangled into the boat right in front of us. And we go past, and he goes, yeah, he says, it's a huge hammerhead shark out here. I'm like, really? He's like, you didn't see it, but I didn't want to say anything. He's like, but I called him to get them out of the water. I was like, no kidding. I don't think they attack humans, but either way. He said it was like 12, 13 feet. I'm like, hell with that. What was in the water? 206-421-ROCK.
New on Curiosity Stream, she was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Bro, gnarly. What's up, Taylor? Dude, that nerd in his electric hybrid totally blew the light while texting his yuppie friends.
That's so bogus, bro. Are you hurt?
Yeah, like I can't move my hips, bro. I think I broke my pelvis, man.
Dude, no way. Taylor, you need to drop a dime and talk with the lawyers at the Advocates Law Firm.
No way, can't afford that, bro. Your crotch is broken, man, and they don't earn any money unless they win your case. Dude, no way.
You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact me today at advocateslaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
You're in the men's room. 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle.
Jacob and Angel of Breton back from South Africa. We're too pleased to meet a reptilian visitor who was caught using their backyard swimming pool as its own crash pad. Angel had been outside around 4:30 a.m. on Friday when she spotted something large floating in her pool. It didn't take long for the native Australian to realize that it was a rather large crocodile. I must applaud everyone for their awesome handling of the situation, she said, for the team who helped rescue the animal and move it out of the pool to safety. Footage taken during the capture shows the team using a lasso to wrestle the beast out of the pool as it thrashes in the water. Jump on its teeth, the brave Aussie can be heard shouting in the background. No, straight on his back. There you go. I'm Australian. I've seen it done before.
But you're not doing it.
No. But
jump on its teeth.
Yeah, they say about a 10-foot crocodile.
Does chlorine not affect crocodiles? I hear about it all the time in Florida.
Guessing again,
I mean, it's gators, right? But I mean, you got chlorine in the pool. I know they're not in there forever, but
it really
if you took your pet fish and dropped it in your pool, I'm saying in 30 seconds it's gone, right?
I've just noticed in more temperate climates where the extreme isn't into wintertime with a pool that you cover.
Yeah.
Most of those pools are saltwater.
Ah, okay.
So, I mean, I'm like, hell, what is it? Lincoln Park? Is it Lincoln Park in West Seattle?
Oh, yeah, they got that giant saltwater pool.
That's a saltwater pool.
I mean, perfect for crocs.
Right.
Well, I was going to say, also, I think alligators can go in pools because they breathe air. They're not sucking in the water.
That is a very strong point, Ted. Thank you.
Wow.
Somehow I overlooked that one small thing. Like, they're not breathing.
That is salt in the poop.
Much like people.
Right, that's how I swim.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Ted. Thank you. Hello, Carol. Welcome to the men's room.
Welcome. Thank you.
Hola.
Long listener, first-time caller.
Thank you.
This is a story about my son. He was about 2.5 years old, and we had him in the bathtub. He loved his bath time. We heard the bubble fart, so we looked over the edge of the tub, and here's this, oh, my goodness, it must have been a 6 or 7 inch turd. And my husband points at it, and he goes, look, it's an attack turd. My my son turns and looks around. I don't think his feet hit the ground until he was out of that bathroom. I've never seen a child fly that fast.
Wait a minute. So your kid poops in the bathtub, looks at
make him laugh. I'll go, it's in a cat turd.
Your son looked at his own turd that he had clearly produced out of his butt in his bath, sees it, and flees the bathroom.
Yep.
Kids don't look.
Well,
Kids,
he knew he farted. I don't think he realized he pooped.
Well, kids have huge heads, but I'm telling you what, when it comes to their bowel movements, that's the only thing that's about adult-like. I mean, when they use the bathroom, you cannot believe how soaked a diaper can be. You cannot believe how much crap can shoot up someone's back into their onesie. I mean, it's an astonishing thing.
But you know what you feed them. It's like we're not feeding them that much that this much poop should be produced by something the size of a loaf of bread.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Like, kids can't do a human sizer. You know what I mean?
I have confirmation that 10-year-old girls can lay it down. It's a different world, man.
What was in the water? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Rick. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, gentlemen.
Hola.
So I don't like being the one-up kind of guy, but I was a commercial diver down in the Gulf of Mexico for years, and I was working on a heavy-lift derrick barge that had like 150 people on it, and I was diving 232 feet doing my decompression, and they decided to pump the crapper. And my water stop at that particular time was right next to the discharge. And I was covered in everything that went down that toilet.
Oh, God, man.
Yeah, not happy. And there was nowhere I could go, nothing I could do but sit there and enjoy the colors.
I mean, you can't escape it, right? How big is the cloud?
As far as you could see.
That's insane.
There's 150 people on there. Think about it.
Well, I'm terrified of just going down into the depths of the ocean like that anyway, wondering what's down there. The last thing I want to deal with is a huge cloud of human waste.
Right, I'm prepared for a shark.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the worst case scenario. I'm not thinking that.
And then you got your buddies that, not that particular job, but you're diving on a platform and you're doing your decompression on that. And if you're on gas, you got a few stops in the water and you're clinging to the platform, and you got to go sometimes on that decompression. You just drop trow on the horizontal diagonal or wherever you can right there. And then the next guy goes down and he does his water stop and he leaves you a little present. It's quite nice sometimes.
Oh my God! Do you what from nature have you seen down there? Where you were just kind of like, you ever run up on a 300-400 pound grouper or anything like that just kind of freaks you out?
Yes, I have literally crapped my pants churning because I got tackled one time on that same job by a Goliath grouper, and it scared the crap out of me, literally.
What, just the sides of the lips when you turned around?
Well, its eyeball was right there about 6 inches from my mask, or my helmet anyway, and it was about the size of my helmet.
Was he just trying to play with you, or what was he doing?
Exactly, and my superintendent told me, hey, dude, it's like a puppy dog. Don't touch it. It won't leave you alone. And I'm using a Broco rod that burns at 10,000 degrees, and the only thing I think of is hit it a couple times, and after about 9 times, it left me alone.
9 times? Damn.
It kept coming back, man.
Oh, yeah. They'll just hang out. They are very curious.
I did not realize how big I'd serve grouper.
And delicious.
I was going to say, I'd serve grouper at restaurants, absolutely delicious, but it was always kind of pre-filleted, right? So in my mind, it was maybe the size of a salmon, and we were in Hawaii and did the submarine thing or whatever, and you go underwater like about 110 feet, and it was a pretty cool experience. But the guy piloting the boat or whatever, he pointed out, he's like, hey, on this side, if you look out there, there's 2 grouper. I'm like, all right, well, let's see what they look like. Oh, my God. They were, man, these things are like 6 feet long. They got big-ass eyes, huge lips. I mean, that was like, oh, my God. I had no idea they were that big. So he's right. If I'm and I know they're quote-unquote harmless, but if I'm in the water and you see something that big, I'd poop myself, too. There's no doubt about it.
But that's what I say, like a puppy. If you pet the damn thing, it won't leave you alone.
That's
Which
so
is weird when you think of that, like, from a fish.
What's a giant land animal that, is friendly, but looks scary?
That's wild? I don't know that there are any.
Is there any? That's what I'm saying.
Is there anything in nature that's just going to walk up to you and let you pet it? That's not a domesticated, to some point, animal.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're talking about, like you don't hear about groupers attacking people, but obviously they're interested. But like
you don't walk.
I wouldn't walk up to a wild
leopard.
No,
right. I wouldn't walk up to a wild elephant.
That's why. No, I wouldn't walk up to a trained one. It depends on its mood. I think the safest I think you could be. It's large, but mostly because it's tall. A kangaroo. Not that it's going to let you pet it. It might punch you. It might kick you, but I don't feel like it's going to try to kill you.
Well, yeah.
Or it's just a wild land animal, and we say, look, walk up to this thing and pet it.
Well, that guy in BC, the video yesterday where he picked up that lynx by the back of the neck and started giving it the business for eating his chickens. I mean, I'm watching that video going, this guy's nuts.
Well, that's scary, but also you're still physically much bigger than a lynx.
But he's also holding it in a way where it couldn't do anything about it.
Basically, it's 1,000 razor blades in your hand, though. You know what I mean? If that thing wants to, it will just slice and dice you up like a Wolverine.
Well, I guess horses. Because horses were wild, and then humans started touching them.
Yeah, but I don't think they rolled up nice. I mean, it's sort of like you chased them down and broke them. It's not like you're like, okay, what's that like? Here, boy.
I got it.
This is the land animal.
I got it. You can do this. Panda bear.
Yes. 100%.
Are you sure?
I don't think they attack people. Maybe they do.
I mean, he's not sure, but I'm with them.
That's where I'm putting my money. I know they're big.
I don't know, man. I feel like panda bears can be violent.
I'm sure they can be, but do they? Because we keep watching these videos.
There's just not enough of them.
There's all these Chinese zoos, all right? And they go in there and they need to clean the panda cages, but it's the one particular animal. We've seen like 4 videos now where all of the pandas, they don't want you messing with their stuff, so to speak, but it's more, pandas seem to look at their territory the way children look at their room. So you were to go into your kid's room and start cleaning it for them, maybe they keep hanging out with you sort of thing. They're like that. So they're kind of attacking the person, but it's more like they cuddle and hug you.
All right. I guess it's rare, especially because they're endangered.
Sure.
What is it? We know there's only a few of us, so we shouldn't get in a fight with anyone.
Right.
Well, I guess also they eat a lot of vegetables.
Right.
And bamboo.
But also it says it's still a giant bear.
It is a giant bear.
Well, it's like a giant squirrel.
But I'm just trying to think of something that if I saw
we only see them in the zoo. I'm saying, I don't know, man. If I saw a panda bear in the wild, I'd be scared.
I'm not saying I'm a go pet it, but if you said, look, we're in the wild, and I don't know what coexists with panda bears, wherever they might be, but you get to pick one of these animals to pet, I am picking the panda.
Like a seal is a water dog, essentially. But I would never pet a seal.
All right. I know it's illegal to touch them, but manatees. Yeah. Oh, that's in the water. Damn it.
It's in the water.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's a mammal. But yeah, you can definitely touch them.
Right.
You're just not supposed to.
You just can't.
You go to jail.
But see, that's the difference. You have to tell people not to touch a manatee because they're that easy to touch. You don't have to have that same thing with wolves. No one says, hey, don't touch the wolf. It's it's understood when you see a wolf, I'm not going to approach this thing. All right, manatee's let me touch you.
Yeah, that's tough with land because whales you can touch.
All right, but again,
I'm touching whales all the time.
Yeah, but why is the only animal you feel like you can talk to is always a coyote? And they look at you like they're...
What do you mean?
Because you can dominate.
I mean, because you like if you see one and you're walking along, you see one, you're like, dude, what are you doing?
Because you know you can kick its ass.
Yeah, and he knows
that's why.
But they seem to be kind of receptive to your communication.
Well, I think because a dog is a dog. A wolf, if you look at the wolf and the wolf sees you looking at it, you got a fight on your hands, right? A coyote, the look they give you is I don't want any trouble. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I know I'm not supposed to be here. I'm only looking for things smaller than me.
That's exactly right. I always have the same conversation. All right, buddy, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get that golf ball, and you're not going to do anything about it.
You got 2 coyotes in my neighborhood, and it's weird. They come out at night, and I'll take my dog out for the final walk, and I know when they're out just based on my dog's behavior, right? But I felt like if it's a big vicious animal, the dog responds one way. But the coyote, it's kind of I want to find him. And just stare them down. But the dog's not scared of them at all. And they're about the same size.
It is creepy.
Doesn't matter.
I will say, it is I don't mind them. And I've only seen them a few times. But it is creepy at night if you're at a campsite and you're coyotes out there. And then minutes later, it's and the coyotes are around the corner, right? Because you don't see them creeping in. And then
now there's 18 of them.
And they start howling again. And you're all right, that's a little unsettling.
Yeah. But anything that howls, it makes you uncomfortable. It could be another group of campers. Right? And if we all just all night, I'm telling you, the other campers are freaking out.
Used to have it in Fremont every night at 2 o'clock in the morning on the weekend.
But the coyotes?
Yeah, just coming out of the bars. Woo, woo, woo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. That's the I'm drunk mating call.
Right.
The women scream woo and the guys scream yeah. When I lived in Belltown, I would live for this. It was every night, right? 2 a.m. the bar, and all you hear is woo! Chicks. And then, yeah! Guys. And we'd wait to see if they meet up somewhere, and they did. Yeah. The only time I've seen it die quickly, there was a cop positioned on one corner. He's out of the car. but you couldn't see them until you physically got to the center section. So people are hooing and yelling and just whipping it up. And I mean, dead silence when they turn the corner. Cobb wasn't doing anything. He's just staring them down, but like, it's time to be quiet.
What was in the water? 206-421-ROCK.
Do those still exist?
With the woo-yahs?
No, they don't.
Well, just because of restrictions and stuff.
Yeah, those days are done.
There was no bar, man. There's no woo-yah maiden call out there. Like, someone's getting laid tonight. Mm-hmm. Hello, Jess. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola. Jess, before you continue, someone just chimed in and said a sloth. You could pet a sloth.
All right.
Thank you for that.
That's a good answer.
All right, Jess, back to you.
I'm sorry. I was listening to all of the commentary about the wild animals and stuff, and I was starting to think about it myself. But anyway, so what happened in the water? This is about 3 years ago. I like to go crabbing, and I don't have a boat or anything, and so I just go out when the season's open and drop my crab nets. And so I was out in Mukilteo on the boardwalk, and I would be hanging out with friends, and we get our licenses, go crabbing, and have a good time. Well, I was by myself, and so I pulled up my nets, and there was this really, really creepy guy. I don't know that he looks like a creepy fish, but it was a really creepy looking fish that I pulled up out of the water in my net. And then there was a couple of starfish of all things. So I'm like, okay, not a good haul. So I have this weird looking fish, and you know how they have those little posters that show you what kind of aquatic sea life you might see in this area? Yeah. So I'm holding this fish, it's flopping around, and I'm just all right. And I'm looking at the board, the poster thing, and I'm I don't even know what this is. So I just tossed it back in the water. Well, the next day I went back to go crabbing again, and I get this same creepy looking fish. And I'm just what is this? And there was nobody out there except for this old man winter looking guy all the way at the other end. And so I'm holding this fish, and I walk over, and I'm excuse me, sir, because obviously he's got all these really nice poles, and so he probably knows a thing or two about fish. And I'm holding this slimy, squiggly, and it had the most prehistoric looking eyes, square shaped pupils, like a goat. And I'm holding this thing, and I was do you know what kind of fish this is? And he was if I were you, I'd put that back in the water. And I was why? He's you see that spike on the end of its tail? Well, it turns out they have some sort of venom or something. I don't know, but he was if that pokes you, and as I'm looking at this fish, and I just threw it back in the water. But it reminded me of what Miles was saying about the urchin. I'm yeah, those spikes with the ability to puncture, and it was terrifying.
Did he tell you what kind of fish it was?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a ratfish or a dogfish. I think it's a ratfish though, but it wasn't illustrated on that poster. So anybody, that wouldn't know any better, like my dumb arse, basically would have probably gotten hurt or poisoned. I guess, apparently when it pokes you, if that unfortunately happens, you get really, really sick, liquid coming out of every end type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you said it initially, I was kind of thinking maybe it was a ling cod, because they are just one of the most ugly fish in the water, but most delicious.
Absolutely. I love ling cod, but this looked nothing. It didn't, how when cod, after I think eventually they turn into not a pleco, but then their eyes are so they start out vertical or horizontal, and then they kind of just flop over to one side, and then their eyes move or something. I don't know.
Well, basically the same idea of a halibut or a flounder. Sometimes
right.
the bottom feeders themselves,
they get kind of Picasso.
Maybe you're right. They get just lazy and just kind of fall on their side, and all of a sudden they just reform.
Yeah, I'm looking at the shape. I'm looking at
it's delicious though.
A ratfish now. It looks like it may have been that. By the way, I just like the fact that the guy sounded like the dude from the first Pet Cemetery. Oh, if I was you, I'd throw that back in the water. Well, something bad happens to you now.
But it was so weird, though. Apparently they're really common, and I'd never seen one in my life. And I'm what the heck is this? Because I'm trying to figure it out. And I guess you can eat them. I mean, it's one of those things, don't take a chance.
You can eat anything.
It looks like it's kind of bony.
I'd eat that sucker.
I feel
like most fish you can eat. I mean, there's more bones.
Yeah, it depends on the fish. Some are really, really bony.
Have you ever seen, people love monkfish? Right?
Yeah.
Oh. Have you seen what they look like?
Yeah, it's a hideous looking fish.
Got them.
But it's great.
It is
tasty? You
good.
had it?
I'm just
It's awesome.
Who's
Poor
the
man's
first
lobster.
guy that tried it?
Huh.
Like the first guy that tried monkfish was real hungry.
I don't know, man. I think the uglier it is, the tastier it is as far as the ocean goes.
I pulled this thing up, right? We're looking at a picture of a monkfish now. Google it. Torture yourself. I pulled that thing into the boat, and we're done. Like, we have dinner.
Like, if you said it was a giant sea spider instead of a crab, would you eat it? You know what I mean? Like, if it was...
That's a good point.
I mean, the ugliest stuff is the stuff that tastes the best.
Miles, I'm telling you, that's what they used to call it, poor man's lobster. Like, the texture's good, this and that. I mean, I ate a horse clam. That is a ugly-looking clam. Got this big-ass tongue thing hanging out of it. You know what I'm saying, Mike?
What was in the water? 206-421-ROCK.
Peel the skin off like it.
Hello, Charlie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, how you doing, bitches?
Hola.
Hola. Okay, me and my buddy were out partying one late night, and this was in Florida, and we went out to the local game park, and we parked about 25 feet away from the pond, and we're getting wasted, and I had to take a pee, so I walked up to the edge of the pond, and I'm about a foot away from it, and I whip it out, and I'm starting to pee, and I was pretty wasted, and I was thinking, I should be able to hear my pee hit the water, right? So I turned around and yelled at my friend to hit the lights, and he hit the lights on the car, and I turned around and looked down to where I was peeing. I was peeing on a gator.
Oh, jeez, man.
How big was the gator?
Well, he was about 12 foot long. He chased me out of the water. I didn't even get time to tuck my stuff back in. I'm running back to the car. Jeff's laughing his butt off, and I get back to the car, and Jeff locked the doors. So I jump on the hood of his car, and this gator comes up, gets about 5 feet away from the hood of the car, and opens up his mouth and lets out this God-formation roar, and turns around and walks off.
You know what he just said? Listen, brother, I let you get away with it this time. Don't ever pee on me again.
I think I feel safer in saltwater in Florida with sharks than I do around freshwater.
I would agree with that. In Florida specifically, yes.
You know, it's just...
Yeah. Gators, snakes.
All that crap, man. No, thank you. I know what's in the ocean. You know what I mean? I have a pretty good idea. If I get bit, it's going to be by a shark. I don't know what the hell's in the swamp.
But typically the shark will let go. I might bleed out. I don't think it's going to eat me. The gator, I feel
He's
like...
dragging my ass in.
Because he's going to eat me.
He's going to hit me and spin.
Right.
What was in the water? 206-421-ROCK.